Chicken lollipop. Chicken lollipops are chicken drumettes with the meat pushed down to one end of the bone to create a handle, transforming a standard wing piece into something that looks like a candy on a stick. The technique originated in India, where it became a staple of Indo-Chinese restaurant menus in the 1970s. The presentation solved a problem that nobody had previously identified as a problem. Chicken wings are messy to eat. A lollipop is not. Indian restaurants in the United States and Britain adopted the format in the 1990s, and it spread globally through Asian fusion menus. A purely aesthetic modification to a chicken wing that required no change in flavor or technique became one of the most recognizable appetizer presentations in the world. Caprese stuffed chicken. Caprese stuffed chicken takes the Italian salad combination of tomato, mozzarella, and basil and cuts it into a chicken breast, creating a pocket that melts during cooking and bastes the meat from inside. The Caprese salad was invented on the island of Capri in the early 20th century as a patriotic dish representing the colors of the Italian flag. Applying it as a stuffing to chicken was an American culinary invention from the 1990s when Italian flavors became the dominant influence on American home cooking. Italy has no equivalent dish. Americans took an Italian salad, put it inside a chicken, and created something that Italian restaurants in the United States now serve as if it were traditional. Italy has not formally objected. Chicken yakitori. Yakitori means grilled bird in Japanese and refers specifically to chicken pieces skewered and grilled over charcoal with either salt or a sweet soy-based tare sauce. The charcoal used in traditional yakitori, called binchotan, burns at a lower temperature than standard charcoal and produces far less smoke, allowing the chicken flavor to dominate rather than the cooking medium. Yakitori stalls appeared outside Shinto shrines in Japan in the Edo period and became associated with casual after-work drinking culture. Japanese salary workers stopping at yakitori stands on the way home from the office is a cultural institution as embedded in Japanese life as the British pub. The format arrived in the United States through Japanese restaurant culture and is now considered one of the defining dishes of Japanese cuisine globally. Chicken Kiev. Chicken Kiev has been the subject of a naming dispute between Russia and Ukraine for over a century. The dish, a chicken breast filled with herbed butter, breaded and fried so the butter remains molten inside, was likely developed in French-influenced Russian restaurants in the early 20th century. Ukraine claims the name based on the city. Russia claims the preparation technique. The dispute became politically significant when restaurants across Europe and America removed Chicken Kiev from menus or renamed it Chicken Kiev in solidarity with Ukraine following the 2022 Russian invasion. A butter-filled chicken dish became a geopolitical statement overnight. The butter inside has remained unchanged throughout the entire debate. Chicken cordon bleu. Cordon bleu means blue ribbon in French and was originally an award for culinary excellence. The dish has nothing to do with blue ribbons. It was created in Switzerland in the 1940s as a variation on the Viennese schnitzel, stuffing the pounded chicken breast with ham and cheese before breading and frying. The name suggested French sophistication, which made it a popular choice for American restaurants trying to appear upscale in the 1960s and 1970s. The combination of crispy exterior, tender chicken, salty ham, and melted cheese creates 4 distinct textures in a single bite. A Swiss invention with a French name became a symbol of American fine dining aspiration and has never fully left the menu. Bacon-wrapped chicken. Americans discovered at some point in the early 2000s that wrapping anything in bacon before cooking it made the thing better. Bacon-wrapped chicken is the most logical application of this discovery. The bacon renders during cooking, basting the chicken continuously in fat while simultaneously crisping into a shell that protects the moisture inside. The result is chicken that stays juicier than any other preparation method achieves without additional sauce. Restaurants charge significantly more for bacon-wrapped chicken than for plain chicken, despite bacon being an inexpensive ingredient. The price premium is justified entirely by the improvement in quality. Bacon-wrapped chicken appears on menus from casual dining chains to steakhouses because the technique works regardless of setting. Chicken meatballs. Chicken meatballs emerged as a mainstream American food in the 2000s when health-conscious cooking created demand for lighter alternatives to beef and pork meatballs. Ground chicken is significantly leaner than ground beef, which means it dries out faster when overcooked. Italian-American cooks who switched from beef to chicken meatballs discovered that the lower fat content required adjustments to technique, adding more binding agents and moisture to compensate. The result, when done correctly, is a meatball that absorbs sauce more readily than beef because the leaner meat has more porous texture. When done incorrectly, it is a dry disappointment that confirms every suspicion people had about healthy eating. Chicken Wellington. Chicken Wellington applies the beef Wellington concept to chicken, wrapping a seasoned chicken breast in mushroom dixelle and puff pastry before baking. The beef Wellington was named after the Duke of Wellington following the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, though food historians have never confirmed the connection, and the dish may simply have been named to honor him. The chicken version appeared in American restaurants in the 1980s as a more affordable alternative to the beef original. The technical challenge is the same in both versions. The pastry must cook through without the meat overcooking. Chicken's lower fat content makes it more forgiving than beef fillet. A noble dish named after a military victory became accessible to home cooks through a simple protein substitution.
Chicken tempura. Tempura is a Japanese frying technique introduced to Japan by Portuguese missionaries and traders in the 16th century. The word tempura comes from the Latin tempora, referring to the ember days when Catholics abstained from meat and ate fried fish and vegetables instead. Japanese cooks adopted the technique, refined it over centuries, and created a lighter, more delicate batter than any European frying tradition had produced. Chicken tempura applies this technique to chicken, producing a crust so thin it is almost translucent. Japanese tempura batter is kept ice cold during preparation because the cold temperature inhibits gluten development, keeping the coating light. A Portuguese Catholic fasting tradition, filtered through Japanese culinary precision, created one of the most technically demanding frying techniques in the world.
Chicken galantine. A galantine is one of the most technically demanding preparations in classical French cuisine. A whole chicken is deboned completely without tearing the skin. The meat is ground and mixed with forcemeat, herbs, and often pistachios or truffles, then stuffed back into the skin, rolled tightly, poached in stock, and served cold in aspic. The preparation requires hours of skilled work and produces a dish that looks architectural when sliced. Auguste Escoffier included galantine in his foundational 1903 cookbook as a benchmark of professional kitchen skill. Modern restaurants rarely prepare it because the labor cost is prohibitive. When a chef does produce a galantine, it communicates something specific about their training and commitment to classical technique that no other dish can signal in quite the same way.